Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where we have found ourselves at the midst of yet another Monday. But this one's not quite as bad because it is another Kizer drop day with brand new models and versions of Kizers dropping tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So you're looking at, I think, 7 p.m. out there on the West Coast. Links will be below, and I'm going to upload this video to upload the moment the drop is live. So if you're watching this video, you can get these knives right now. And I've got a little different structure to this video. So Kizer has been sending the knives out a little early, which is great. I've been wanting that for a long time, so I can actually, I like doing the unboxings for you guys, so you can see my excitement and see just exactly my initial thoughts of everything right out of the box. But I think it's more valuable for all of you for me to have these in the pocket for a few days and actually, make sure there's no defects or anything weird going on with any of them. So what I've done since I got these about a week ago now, I've carried all of them, and then we're going to cover 3 of them tonight. We're going to cover 2 of kind of the fan favorite models that got new versions, which you see right here. And then there's also a brand new premium premium version that's also dropping tonight that is very, very nice. And you're going to get a full review of that. So this is an overview followed by a full review. And then middle of the week, I'll bring out a couple fixed blades for you that also dropped in this. And we'll take a look at those. The fixed blades, they usually hang around a little longer. So I think that's a safe bet. I don't want to flood everyone with nothing but Kizer all the, back-to-back days. I like to keep things fresh on this channel, go from, Kizer to something else, because tomorrow I have one absolutely amazing American-made piece to take a look at. But today is all about Kizer, so let's get into it and talk about them. And start off with 2 of the more fan-favorite models that got new versions. I've been waiting for this one for a very long time. Let's set this to the side and talk about this guy right here. This is one that, as you can see, it's the Towser K. This is the regular size Kizer Towser K. And I think everyone would agree this is easily one of Kizer's better models they've ever released. It has great ergos, versatile ergos, a super slicey blade, and very, very smooth action. So it's a great knife. There's no real review that's needed here. What we're really looking at is the new version, which is Ultim scales, that I thought was really unique the way they did this. And to be totally honest, you guys know I love Kizer. I usually don't have anything negative to say about Kizer. But this here, it just doesn't quite do it for me. Now it's still the Towser K, still a great knife. But the Ultim, so this is my thing. Some people hate Ultim. They're like, oh, piss handles, I don't want them. Well, that's, to each their own, different folks, different strokes. You guys know all that. But, for me, I like Ultim. I have kind of a rule when it comes to Ultim. For me personally, Ultim has to be 2 things. It has to have some type of finish on the handle, whether it be a milling or a press, something to give it some texture or a little bit of a little more of a visual on it. And I always prefer my Ultim over black liners and hardware. The satin liners and hardware, to me, and again, this is very opinionated here, purely my opinion, which is, I'm sure why some of you guys watch this channel, hopefully a lot of you, it just looks incomplete to me. The glossy finish, I feel like over time, it's a great knife. So if you get this, you're going to carry it a lot. I feel like the Ultim could, get some nicks and scratches, which, when you're talking about something like micarta, it's okay because it's micarta, right? It patinas, it looks different, or even G10. It's, it's really hard to scratch and nick G10 to where it's really, really visible. But this Ultim, as glossy and shiny as it is, it just doesn't do it for me. What I would really like to have seen with this, I think I have it back here, one second. Here it is. No offense, but I got to bring out the Civivi here because I really like what Civivi did. They put some really, really nice milling on this Praxis, and it's behind black liners. That really does it for me. I would have loved to have seen some type of milling or texture, something pressed onto this Ultim. And then also, I think it would look a lot better with, even if the blade was still satin, I would still prefer black liners behind it because I just think that is a better presentation of how to pull off the Ultim outfit. I really do like Altum. I'm not one of the people that doesn't like Altum. To me, these are not P handles. These are, it's a really cool material. I really like it. I'm not in love with this particular version of just the shiny, glossy Altum with no finish, no milling, no nothing, and then the satin liners. It just doesn't do it for me. But let me know what you guys think. What do you prefer when it comes to Altum? What do you think of this version here? Because I'm sure I'm not, whether I'm a majority or minority of the feelings of what I just expressed to you, let me know. But what I can say about the Towser K is it is a fantastic knife. Like, it is a phenomenal knife. If it's not in my top 10 favorite Kizers, I would say it's safely in the top 15 because it's my size knife. It's got good ergos, super good action, and a slicey blade, and I love, love, love this blade shape. So they did a lot of things right with this model in general. This version with the Altum, I think, like I said, it's a little incomplete to me. I think it could look a little better with some milling or press texture and black inner handle material, as well as maybe like a black clip and hardware. But that's it. That's the Towser K. Still very smooth, very fidgety. Let me know what you think of that. Now, let's start talking about this guy. The regular size Kizer Sheepdog with a button lock. I've been waiting for this for so long, and I could not be happier with it. I think this was knocked out of the park. They made a few little changes that I'm going to bring out my other sheepdogs here to kind of show to you guys. There's one of them that's more of a better blade to note than the other. And that's this one. This was the first sheepdog it's just got the liner lock. It's been around for quite a while. But this was the first one where they did the flipper delete and they put the thumb hole in there for middle finger flicking. And that's kind of what I'm going to compare this to, because as you can see, there's a very, very big noticeable difference on the blade that I think a lot of people are going to love. Now, one of the things that I loved about the original sheepdog was just the fact that there was a choilish area up here. I really liked that. And I liked the contoured handle. That was great. And I always loved the sheepdog clip. Now, what you have with the button lock version is they made that choil better, considerably better, by one, adding a sharpening choil in front of the finger choil, which, as you can see, you don't have here on the original. Now, that doesn't make this a bad knife. This is still an amazing knife. But what it did was it added just a little more protection with kind of the way they ran the grind, and they put the sharpening choil in there as well as an incredibly nice plunge grind, so you don't have to worry about a smile. So that, in my eyes, is an improvement. And you, of course, have the button lock. Now, this has the liner lock, which was still very nice action, but the button lock, I think a lot of people are just still loving the button lock craze. If you don't like the button lock, I can easily vouch and say that this regular sheepdog with the liner lock is still phenomenal. But I really do like what they did here with the sharpening choil, and the kind of improvement on the finger choil is very, very nice. I also prefer this canvas micarta over the linen micarta. I love the fact that they made that switch. And again, this is just more flawless canvas micarta. The canvas micarta especially, I feel like Kizer does a great job with micarta in general, but the canvas micarta from them, it's like flawless. There's no fuzzies or frizzies or any of that crap. It's super, super clean. It has a perfect texture. It is one of the things that sets Kizer apart from CJRB, from Civivi, from Vosteed. It's one of the things that makes Kizer, and I really, really just, I can't say it enough. I love their micarta. It really is the best in my opinion, especially when you're talking under $100 or right around $100. Now, in terms of the sharpened blade length, yeah, you lose a little sharpened blade length with what they did to the bottom of the blade, but as you can see, it's like a 1/4 of an inch at the most. I would say maybe a 1/4 of an inch tops. So probably a little less than that if I actually measured it. So I don't care about that, to be honest. That doesn't really make a difference to me. Let me know if that makes a difference to you. I'm curious about that. But I'm a big, big fan of this version. It's great. Button lock's phenomenal. Very, very smooth. And yeah, it's what I was hoping for. I'm very, very satisfied. And I love my sheepdog family. Look at this. What do you guys think of the sheepdog family? black handles, micarta, aluminum. Yeah, 3 amazing knives right here. And I think all 3 of them, this is the crossbar lock version, I think all 3 of them are still available. This one is obviously definitely available. And I feel like it's going to sell pretty well. I feel like it's going to go rather quick because the Sheepdog is one of those versions. It's just almost impossible to mess this thing up. The ergos are phenomenal. The action's great. Now you have all the options for action. You got a crossbar, you got a liner lock, you got the button lock. You got the holy trinity of options for the Sheepdog, and I'm very, very happy to see that. Love this knife. Highly, highly recommend this one, especially if you have not handled a Sheepdog yet and you want to get into it. Definitely look that one up. Now, let's take a look at a brand new Kizer premium model, and that is the Kizer Mercury. Now, first, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here, and then we'll kind of go over what really makes it stand out and what I think makes it a really, really good option for people looking for a more casual, gentlemanly carry. What we have here is an overall length of 7.37 inches, a blade length at 3.26 inches, and a blade thickness at 120 thousandths. Blade material on this guy is, as with most Kizer premiums, you're getting S35 VN, as you can see right there. We have a cleaver style blade. I mean, what do you guys tell me? Is it a cleaver? Is it a modified Wharncliffe? Is it a barber blade? I mean, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it does work for me. I think it's a great blade shape for this knife. You have a hollow grind. Handle length coming in at 4.11 inches, handle thickness at 474 thousandths, titanium handle material with a very nice liner lock for the locking mechanism, a user of a right hand only tip up carry, weight 2.08 ounces. This is a very, very light knife, and for a knife this long at 7.37 inches, that's a very, very, very nice weight. Very nice and light. Designed by Alex Berkowitz, and a price at $139. So not too bad at all in terms of price and just kind of the uniqueness that this knife brings to the table. It really is. That's something that I think Kizer has really stepped up with this year, especially with their premiums, is bringing fresh designs to the market, whether it be from Alex Berkowitz or whether it be from Jacob Lundquist with the Veritas, which is still amazing, or a couple other models from other designers that have just really, really knocked out of the park this year that you'll probably see later in the year in the Knife of the Year Awards, because the Kizer premiums have been really, really special this year, I think. I've been very impressed with them. And this knife was a hard one to get size comparisons for, but I actually did find one, and it's kind of like old reliable. It's the Kizer Genie, and, you know, it's not quite as thin, but if you look at it from just like kind of just an overall size comparison standpoint, let's bring them closer down here to kind of get a better angle. As you can see, it's a pretty good size comparison to the Kizer Genie. It's not super, super thin. It's not as thin as you might think, but it is a thin, slender handle. Very similar amount of sharpened blade length. And yeah, pretty good comparison there. We'll hold them up side by side because these clips want to kind of send them sideways here. We'll go pivot to pivot. And as you can see, very, very similar. Just a little shorter in overall length is the Mercury compared to the Genie. But yeah, look at those. 2 very, very unique blades. Still love the Genie. The Genie is one of those models that really turned me on to Kizer and thought, you know what? This company has something going here. And they've continued it ever since. But this Mercury, this blade, I think is really, really cool. It is a great EDC blade. I mean, it has a nice tip. It has a slicey belly, 21 thousandths behind the edge, but the hollow grind kind of helps enhance kind of the sliciness that you would want in a blade like this. A very, very nice sharpening choil down here that stays thin, pretty much as thin as you'll need. It doesn't really get thick until past the end of the grind there, so I don't think you have to worry about any smiles or anything like that, which is really nice. And yeah, just a really cool, unique blade shape. Now, one thing to note about this blade shape, and one thing that this is not, this knife is a lot of things, a lot of good things. But to me, in my humble opinion, I don't think this is one of those heavy users. This is meant to be a casual carry around the office, on a date, on a walk out on the town. It's something where just if you need a blade, you have it. This is not something you probably want to break cardboard boxes down with all day, or, you know, pop straps on skids, or anything crazy that you would do in a more work environment. This is more of an office environment knife. A night out on the town type of knife, or just your casual, light to moderate use EDC. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But to me, that's what this is. And again, I got no problem with it. It has a nice spot in my collection, and it's not going anywhere. The handle feels good. I really, now again, this isn't like, again, keep it in the context of, what the knife is. This knife isn't meant to be like a K320 Nitron or a Spyderco Shaman, where it's, super hand filling. Again, this is going kind of more towards the side of minimalism here, but it also wants to incorporate, fashion and good looks and lines, and it's doing that. And it still feels good enough in hand to where there's no issue. The clip is nice and wide enough to where it works really well with the handle, so you don't have any hot spots back there. The thickness combined with the width is very nice, and the milling on the scales are exquisite. Excellent, exquisite. Any word you want to use that is a positive thing to say about this, you can call it, because there's something about good milling that just makes something feel more expensive, especially when you're talking like a knife or anything that you carry on you during a day, because milling takes time, it takes precision, and when it's done right and when it's done smooth, it feels very, very good. And that is 100% what you have here. Very, very smooth. You kind of run your finger along and you catch the lines, and it feels good. It feels good. It adds a really good amount of grip and texture, and I'm really, really happy with how this milling turned out. And it's hard to see, but there is actually a very, very fine, like super ultra fine micro milling on the clip here, which doesn't really make for a texture, but you see it, and I'm trying. It almost just looks bead blasted, but it's not. It is a very fine milling that looks really, really nice. Kind of an excellent little finish here. And then along the back, you have kind of that nice, like an incorporated backspacer, or maybe not an integral backspacer, but just a solid two-piece design on the handle, which makes for a very strong handle. One less piece to the knife, which is really nice. And they kept it pretty smooth. Now, with the satin finish here, the line is a little more noticeable, but again, it doesn't look bad to me. You notice a line there. That's not necessarily the end of the world. And I really like how they kept it, the screws minimal. So over here you have the screw at the back, but it kind of there's no other screw. It just screws in and pulls the handle in together to keep it together. So really, really nice, clean finish there at the bottom. No screws on the show side. You don't see that a lot. That's still a pretty rare thing for the most part, and I think it was pulled off extremely well here. And just an excellent handle. And the handle is actually capped off with some very, very nice access to the liner lock here. As you can see, we have what I consider to be kind of like a perfect lockup. This is like just what I look for. I like seeing the liner lined up like flush with the one side of the blade. And and not going all the way in or in the middle. Really nice lockup, very nice access. Very, very smooth. Again, you're talking a really light blade, so for it to close that easy is very nice. And the action is phenomenal. For flipping action, it's as good as you can get. And you guys know me, I prefer more of that push button style flip instead of light switching, which you can do, and that works really good. It's so easy to just push at an angle and fly that blade out. I love the action on this knife. It just feels, for as thin and slender as it is, it feels like a well-built, strong knife. But it also has that really fashionable, gentlemanly side to it that I think it makes it a really, really excellent EDC. I'm a really big fan of this. I love how it turned out. If you're going to show me a picture of this, I may look at it and be like, I don't know if that's for me. I like kind of a wider handle. I like a stronger blade. I like all these certain things. But then you get something like this in the hand and you're like, you know what? There's there's a spot in my collection for this. There is. It's perfect for that night out, or it's perfect to just carry in the office or carry on certain days when you know you're not going to need an absolute unit of a knife to, tear down 20 boxes and chop God knows what. It's awesome. I think it's fantastic. I love the closed visuals you get from it. Everything lines up well. It looks good. It's just an excellent knife. Of course, I shouldn't even need to show you this, but yeah, perfect blade centering, which is what you pretty much always get with Kizer nowadays. But a phenomenal offering. The Kizer Mercury. This one, I don't think is going to be around for very long, especially at this price point. And then we also have our other two excellent offerings, the Kizer Sheepdog with a button lock and the Towser K with Ultim. Let me know what you guys think of all these. I really hope you enjoyed this one. We went a little long, but hey, you know what? It takes time to tell you how great some of these knives are. Let me know what you guys think of this. Let me know if you're going to be getting in on the drop tonight. Really hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, and until the next one, I'm out.